We all had bigger aspirations. We all had bigger dreams. But for many, the corruption of life events, fears, and limiting beliefs have stopped us from fulfilling our true potential. We take the safe and supposedly comfortable route. The dream fades, and we settle for what convention dictates. Years later, we feel frustrated by our lack of progress. Or worse still, we are faced with some crisis. We want to change, but we don't know how to. If you are faced with such a conundrum, realize that all of us have an inner giant, an immense force waiting to be awakened from its slumber, a force which will alter your life in an unimaginable way. Today we will visit a classic by Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. This book was published in 1991, and to this date, the principles hold true to unlocking the mindset and practices to make drastic changes in your life. I recommend participating in some of the exercises if you wish. So let's get started. Once you decide to make changes in your life, the first thing you must do is to raise your standards. For a start, focus on 4 primary areas: career and business, personal development, adventure, contribution and giving. Under each of these categories, write down everything you no longer want to accept and all the things that you want to achieve. Write without inhibition. By doing so, you are raising your standards on what you expect in life, and more importantly, on what you expect from yourself. Then, for each group, list 3 limiting beliefs that may prohibit you from fulfilling your desires. Look for disempowering statements such as, I can't, I never, I always fail, luck isn't on my side, I'm not educated enough. Then consider the source and validity of such limiting beliefs. Perhaps someone had put you down in the past. If so, rebut the source. Perhaps consider what qualifies the person to make such a statement. Have they made it far, or were they just trying to bring you down to their level? Once you have banished the limiting beliefs, replace them with new empowering ones. Following this exercise, you are now ready to take responsibility for how you want to progress in life. This is because it is your decisions, not the environment, that controls your destiny. Decisions have the power to literally change the course of your life at the very moment you make a choice. Hence, once a decision to change is considered, ignore any external factors and concentrate on the following areas. 1. Decide on what your focus should be. Look at the problem itself and explore possibilities. 2. Calibrate your emotion and choose how to react. Be proactive. 3. Decide on strategies and what action do you want to take. You see, decisions without action is pointless. A true decision is made only when concrete action is taken to back it up. This is an area where many people falter. They may mentally think about making change, but for various reasons, take no action. So once you've made a decision, take massive action. Don't stop for any reason. Finally, along the way, learn from your decisions, because yes, we all make mistakes, but just remember that each mistake is just another step in the right direction. Next, in order to kick things into action, harness the force of pain and pleasure to invoke change. At a very primal level, most of what we do is to avoid the perception of pain and to engage the feeling of pleasure. The simple way of thinking about this is to link inaction to pain and action to pleasure. As an example, imagine that your main goal is to become healthy and lose some weight. However, the thought of altering your dietary patterns, giving up your favorite snacks, and committing to daily exercise may seem too painful to contemplate. Now, visualize how you would feel if there was inaction in the long run. Imagine that every day you continue a sedentary life with poor eating habits and no exercise for many years to come. Then ask yourself, what is this going to cost you? It could be your health, your self-image, or self-esteem. Then contemplate, how will this impact your loved ones? How would they feel if you had to be hospitalized due to poor health? How would that impact your family's finances? Truly tap into the emotions when you imagine these events. Then ask yourself if the short-term pleasure was worth it. Next, feel and imagine the pleasure that you will get by taking massive action and engaging in a healthy lifestyle both now and into the future. Imagine how energized you will feel with the additional vitality and strength that you have. Imagine the happy times you will create and enjoy with your loved ones for many years. Once you have done this and tapped into the emotion, it is now important to tap into the inner belief that you can take small steps to achieve your goal. Make small changes daily. For a start, you may decide to reduce the amount of screen time by 5 minutes and spend the 5 minutes saved doing some light exercises. This is a good starting point. Following on, it is then important to keep up the routine, because as Tony remarks, once we affect change, we should reinforce it immediately. This is the way we condition our nervous system to succeed consistently. Now that you have jump-started your action plan, how do you maintain continued growth? Here is a checklist of things you can do. The first is to associate pain with your old habits and patterns. 2, to associate pleasure with your new habits and patterns. And finally, ensure that your new behaviors and feelings are consistent with your values, your belief, and your rules. You see, point 3 is very important to sustain change and keep up the momentum. This is because if the reason for change is not congruent with your inner values, then it is unlikely that the habits that you take will be sustained in the long run. As you seek to awaken your inner giant further, you are essentially re-scripting your character. In doing so, tap into what Tony calls life references, i.e. your past experiences. Now, the way we use such references can determine how we feel. For example, when I lived in a residential college, I used to get quite depressed when the food served was not to my liking. However, by remembering my previous experiences of seeing hunger in the streets in a third world country, my emotional state was altered from a position of complaining to a place of gratitude. So at that point in time, while I did acknowledge the food wasn't to my liking, things could have been worse, and I was grateful to have a full tummy. This technique is referred to as using contrast to put things into perspective. However, learning from your own experiences alone can be a long and challenging road. That is why Tony Robbins suggests distorting time by tapping into external references. Read widely, engage with others, and locate mentors. We can learn and grow from the experiences of others. There is a saying, you don't know what you don't know. Hence, it is easy to just remain in the status quo or wander aimlessly using the trial and error approach. But if you can learn from the experiences of others, you give yourself the greatest level of choice while reducing the time and effort to reach your ultimate goal. Hence, as you plan your journey, take time to write down a few experiences that have shaped who you are now. Then ask yourself, in order to achieve a higher state of being, what references do you need? Who do you want to engage? Once you have established this, seek and you shall find. To summarize, awaken your inner giant by identifying the areas of your life that you want to improve and change your belief system. Take sustained action by using the perception of pain and pleasure. And finally, seek new experience and references to expand your mind and reduce the time and effort taken to achieve your goals. Thank you for watching the video. If you found value, please subscribe to the channel and share the video. a toast to your new beginnings, and we will meet again in the next video.